The MCU returns to the big screen with the newest addition to Phase 5 being The Marvels, a movie that starts connecting the Disney Plus shows with the live-action films. So how is it? Let's talk about it.
You're forgetting something. I'm invincible.
Your powers only make me stronger.
The Marvels is directed by Nia DaCosta and is headlined by Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson. And of course, everyone knows that this film takes place in the MCU, which, let's be honest, has been on some really shaky ground. Other than Loki Season 1 and 2, and of course Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I have not been a big fan of the post-Endgame MCU. So you might actually be shocked to know that I was actually really looking forward to The Marvels. Now don't get me wrong, going into the movie I was still really nervous that I was going to get another MODOK experience like an Ant-Man and the Wasp.
My name is Darren, and I am not a dick!
But when I first saw the trailer for The Marvels, I got really excited because I saw the characters of Miss Marvel and Monica, two Disney Plus show characters, finally making their debut on the big screen. To me, this was a sign that Marvel was addressing the big issue. That Phase 4 and Phase 5 do not have an overlapping, cohesive story. Everyone knows that the MCU is at its absolute best when it follows the formula of the first three phases, which is have a string of individual movies that are connected by an overlapping story arc that leads to an event film, aka an Avengers movie. So far, Phase 4 and Phase 5 have not done a successful job of following that formula.
Not a great plan.
So needless to say, my expectations were high. How is the movie? Okay, so let's start with the positives. I really do think that Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Monica have great chemistry together. Personally, I really enjoyed their time on screen together. There were a few funky scenes, but overall there was some great chemistry, and I did enjoy the dynamic of the three. I especially enjoyed Miss Marvel. I think that she completely stole every scene she was in. She was as good as she was in the Disney Plus show. Just an overall great performance, and I look forward to seeing her more in the future. Other than that, man, I really did not like this movie. There are some really jarring pacing issues. I came to find out later that it is the shortest of the Marvel movies. It's only like an hour and 33 minutes. The movie was non-stop. Like, it never felt like it had a chance to breathe and have like a nice, decent, slow scene. I felt like we were constantly moving, constantly trying to move the plot along, and I just felt like the plot was very weak. So most of the time, I was just bored out of my mind. I will say that the post-credit scene does try to make this feel like a more connected story, but this is once again another Marvel movie that kind of feels like it's taking place in its own universe. It doesn't feel connected to anything else. And I don't see how we're building up to King the Conqueror. Right now, the only thing that is successfully getting me hyped for a future Avengers movie is the Loki show. Other than that, I just don't feel anything for the future Avengers movie. Even with these post-credit scenes in this film, I just don't care. Right now, with the MCU, we are at a tipping point. We need new direction. We need someone else to step in. Nothing about the Marvels feels unique in its own way. This movie feels like it was made by a factory, and let's be honest, that's what the MCU is now. It's just a complete factory that makes the safest possible movies that are eventually going to lead to something, but right now, they're currently not. The cinematography was uninspiring, the music was uninspiring, the acting was pretty good, and like I said, the chemistry was strong. But overall, there's nothing special about this movie. The MCU has kind of lost that charm. And to be honest, I think this movie's going to bomb at the box office. Because I don't even feel like Marvel is supporting this movie the way they have supported other films. Feels like Marvel doesn't even really believe in this film. So I truly believe it's time for leadership change. I will always respect what Kevin Feige has done for the MCU, particularly with phases 1 through 3, but I feel like Marvel needs a new voice right now. Overall, I'm gonna give the Marvels a 5 out of 10.
That's not good news.
It's not the worst thing you'll possibly see. Your kids will really enjoy it, but man, it feels like another soulless Marvel movie, and I just don't see where we go from here. The direction it's just not interesting. But hey, at least they're not DC.